Let's talk about the White House now, making new moves within just the last couple of hours to ditch some passenger protections on airlines. The Department of Transportation says it's now going to drop a plan that came up under the Biden administration that would require airlines to pay you cash if your flight is delayed because of the airline. You know, like not weather, right? If there's a storm, you're delayed, that doesn't count. If it's like a technical issue or whatever. It would have given people something like $200 to $800 almost for delays, depending on how long they were. Airlines have been fighting the whole thing for a while, saying that would just jack up ticket prices. The White House says this move that they're making now to cancel this is in line with the Trump administration's goals. They're also trying to put an end to a price transparency rule that requires airlines and agents to show service fees up front. So let me go to Tom Costello on this, our correspondent of many talents, including on the aviation beat. What's the rationale for this? Why is the White House doing this?
Well, listen, the Airlines for America is the trade group. Sure. They have been very, very adamant that this is simply unfair, that it's an unfair burden that they are expected to carry, that it drives up ticket prices ultimately. And also it's an example, they believe, of really extreme government overreach. For example, on the cancellation policy under the Biden administration, the airlines would be required to automatically refund your money within a very short period of time after a cancellation. And the Biden administration was detailing how it had to happen. In other words, via a credit card, if you didn't accept, for example, being reassigned to another flight. There are a lot of examples of where I think even independent people thought, oh, boy, the Biden administration may be overreaching a bit on forcing the airlines to take these actions. But nonetheless, now we have the DOT moving fast and also apparently considering even kind of dialing back on what would happen if your flight is canceled. Here's what the Airlines for America, again, the lobbying group here in Washington, is saying about all of this. It is saying that we are encouraged by the Department of Transportation reviewing unnecessary and burdensome regulations that exceed its authority and don't solve issues important to its customers. The airlines have always said, listen, it's in our best interest to take care of our customers, right? And so we're trying to do that. But a lot of consumer rights advocates are going to say this may open the door for more gouging, if you will. Their words, not mine. To be clear, and I just want to, like, as a service to people who fly, this is all separate from some of those other protections that people have about, like, you can't sit on the plane for 17 hours on the runway, like they have to feed you at a certain point. This is different from that, right? Right, and importantly, the airlines had already agreed on their own that they would provide compensation if your flight is delayed beyond a certain amount of time, that they would provide food. If it's really delayed, they would provide hotels. That doesn't change this, right? But you got to wonder whether, if the regulatory environment is changing, might the airlines say, that's no longer really in our interest, and we no longer feel compelled to do that. We'll have to see. Late breaking news. Tom Costello jumping all over it. Thank you for being with us tonight. Yep. Appreciate you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.